Hey there, everyone. Jim here with Fantasy for the Ages, the show where a father and son talk about fantasy, science fiction, and other nerdy things that we enjoy. Today, it's just Jim here for this episode, bringing you some thoughts that I thought might be entertaining, things that have been on my mind. If you enjoy the thoughts that I bring to the screen now, please like the episode. If you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you will. Check out all the content we have here on Fantasy for the Ages. And please leave comments down below. I respond to anything you put down there. Positive ones always preferred, but definitely want to hear your thoughts. And look in the show notes for all the other ways that you can connect with Zach and I. Social media, Discord, we even have a Patreon page. Thank you to all of you who already support us as patrons over there on Patreon. We appreciate you. Find us at Fantasy for the Ages to learn how you can support us and get some extra benefits, especially tons of episodes that we have out there just as thank yous to our patrons. So, this topic, science fiction and fantasy series where I want more. I'm talking about book series that are out there of various lengths where, for some reason, I'd really like to have more books. I had this thought that this would be a cool thing to talk about. So then I sat down, I started preparing for it, and here's where my thoughts went. First of all, obviously, there's certain series that we all would like to see more books in, and maybe someday we will get them. I know some of you are jaded and may not agree with me here. A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. We've got 5 books, he's promised us 7. Promise is a very loose word there. It's been over a decade since book 5 came out. We're waiting for those last 2. He keeps teasing us with how he's working on book 6, Winds of Winter. He's almost there. It's getting close. He's cried wolf a few times now. In the meantime, all sorts of things have happened with HBO. He's had his hand in other little projects here and there. Will we ever get them? I don't know, but I hope so. But that's not really what I'm talking about here. Another example would be The Kingkiller Chronicle by Patrick Rothfuss. 2 books out there, over 12 years ago now since that second book was published. It's supposed to be a trilogy. We all hope to see that third one day. Not sure if Rothfuss will ever feel up to it, be able to wrap his mind around how to deliver the perfect conclusion. I get that. The pressure is real. But that's not really what I'm talking about today either. Then you've got The Dresden Files by Jim Butcher, another 17 books already, and a bunch of novellas and short stories. But he is still actively writing that series. I know he's taking a little pause while he's working on the Cinder Spire series. He's got other things he writes out there. But he will get more Dresden File books to us. He's got the roadmap. He figures maybe 23, 24, 25 books all told. I believe in Butcher. It'll come. I know he made us wait a while for 16 and 17, but he won't make us suffer all that long. He can do this. The last one that comes to mind here of books I'm not really talking about is everything Brandon Sanderson has delivered in the Cosmere, and he's got this big vision and scheme for what he's going to eventually bring to us. I may not live long enough to see everything he produces in the Cosmere, but gee, it would be nice. I'd like to see the whole picture. What I've seen so far is pretty interesting. But again, he's actively writing these books. I don't know if he has an idea of how many he will write in the end, but he's got a general vision. He's got a destination he's headed for. This is an ongoing process. I'm not so worried. What I'm talking about here today instead is where a series is either finished, but we really wish more had been written, or it's been left unfinished due to an author's passing. And we still go, man, if only somebody else would pick that up and finish the series. Wouldn't that be great? These are the kinds of books that I'm trying to come up with today. Now, there are some famous examples already where something was not done and was picked up and finished, or was done, but then was extended even further, and the fans loved it. Perhaps for us fantasy geeks, the most famous example is The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan and delightfully finished by Brandon Sanderson, using Jordan's notes, working with Team Jordan, which included Robert Jordan's widow and editor. And then, he brought some of his own Sanderson-ness to it because he was an uber Wheel of Time fan, and working with the team got permission to add his own little elements as well. We were so thankful because, man, when Jordan passed away, there was supposed to be one more book. And we're all like, we never get it? That's it? 11 books? We've been through this amazing journey and nothing else? Well, no, it's finished. So we got one more book, except there was so much to write. It was 3 more books. So a 14-book series plus the prequel. I know that's in there. What a great example. We have completion. Then we've got Dune, a science fiction series by Frank Herbert. And he passed away after writing 6 books, and it clearly wasn't done. There was supposed to be a finish. Time passes, and then Brian Herbert, Frank's son, teams up with writer Kevin J. Anderson, and they deliver that final 7th book. But wait, there's more, because then they keep writing more. They write prequel novels. They write sequel novels. There's a much bigger Dune universe because Brian and Kevin just had a good time giving us what we wanted. Delightful. I've read all the Dune stuff. It's due for a reread someday. That's amazing. One more example then. This is a series that was done, but now we have more. And here I'm just talking about Middle-earth. J.R.R. Tolkien, of course, had given us The Hobbit and had given us The Lord of the Rings. This is a complete story. But it was such an amazing world, so rich in world building that Tolkien had done, and he had copious notes on all of these things that never got published. So his son, Christopher Tolkien, comes along, compiles a whole bunch of these notes, and we get the Silmarillion, the story of the first and second age of Middle-earth. Marvelous edition. So enriched what we got in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings by being able to read all this backstory. I can't even fathom enjoying those stories now without the Silmarillion. And then a few more things in the Book of Lost Tales Part 1, the Book of Lost Tales Part 2. So we've got all this richness thanks to Christopher Tolkien taking his dad's notes and bringing us something more. And we were happy. So thinking of those sorts of things, I was like, okay, what else is out there? Of all the things that I've read, and that's a limitation I put on myself, series that I've read, what would I really want to see more of still? What is it out there that I'm waiting for that may never happen? That I'm hoping there could be more? Or what series is finished and wow, can I just have a few more stories? And when I sat down to really plan this out, I only came up with 2. I really thought there'd be a ton of things that I'd love to have more content on, but that's not what happened. Why not? Okay, again, it's limited by the series that I've read. I've read a lot of science fiction and fantasy, but thinking of the ones I've read to completion, I'm either completely satisfied with the ending, and don't you mess with that ending, don't you touch this work of perfection. I like don't want more. Or it's something that by the time it got to the end of whatever there is, I was bored, done. Not satisfied anymore. I really don't want to read more in the series. So yeah, wow, it was funny. I only have 2. But what 2 are they? Here's what we have. One of these is a cheat. Okay, let me explain how one is a cheat. I'm talking about Anne McCaffrey's The Dragon Riders of Pern. I have not finished this series, but I have read 15 of the books, so over half of what's out there. Why I say it's a cheat is, as far as I am, I definitely want more. I'm already past what I believe is the core story that needed to be told, and then we're getting extra stuff that Anne kept writing. But then Anne passed away, and there were still more stories that could be told, And we've got her two kids still writing burn books. So I'm happy. I'm still getting more stories. I will get to finishing those eventually. There's just so much good stuff to read. But that would be one that, I just want more Dragon Riders of Pern. So I'm a happy man because it is happening. The other one, well, you've already heard the series, The Wheel of Time. Because yes, Brandon Sanderson finished it, but there should have been more. The core series is done, but there were more stories to be told. There are things unanswered. This is such a rich world Robert Jordan created, and I do believe he intended to give us more stories. I've heard rumors of this, in fact, things that Jordan himself hinted at. We should have some prequel stories about Tam Althor, Rand's father, and the history there of how he got a heron marked blade. He left as a young man, goes and serves in Ilion, and becomes one of the companions. I mean, there's a story there, and we should have got it. That would have been great. Even better, though, Wheel of Time spoilers until 1152. The story of Matt and Tuon. There's a mess across the ocean in Shan-Chan, and they're going to go fix it. I think they're going to go try. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be challenging. It was going to be worthy of a story. I mean, just the two of them trying to figure out how to be a couple and all the others that could have been involved. And what about Rand and his journeys and the three women that he's connected with and all the stories of what's to come? There's some great content that still could have been written that would have been interesting, and I would have loved to see it. But best I understand, we're never getting any of that. So that one definitely righteously belongs on this list, even though I'm glad Brandon Sanderson finished it in the first place. So that's it. Now, keep in mind, I do still want more of those various series that are still in process. I named some of them, like the Dresden Files. There are others out there that are also underway, and I want to see more books keep coming out, but I think they will. So my question for you, aside from those sorts of things, what completed series are you still wishing you could have more of someday? Or what are the science fiction and fantasy series that are just left hanging out there because an author passed away or gave up on the series for some reason, and that you are hoping someone, maybe the author, maybe the estate, maybe just someone else randomly, fanfic, I don't know, writes more, continues or completes the series? Let me know in the comments what's on your mind there, or hit us up on social media or our Discord server. We even have email down in the show notes. Send me your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. I look forward to it. And if you want to know where to find us, again, it's in the show notes, but you can just look for Fantasy for the Ages on any of the common social medias. You'll probably find us, especially that one formerly known as Twitter. All right, that's all I have for you today. It's one of our shorter, long-form episodes. I know it's not very long. I thought it would be, but the fact I couldn't come up with more is a bit of a unique creation process as it is. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.